Matt, what are you doing? What is Oscar doing during these first 3 days? Or Fortune? What is Fortune doing in his first 3 days?
Yeah, Fortune, do you have anything?
I am cleaning, practicing shooting, cleaning, practicing shooting, staring in a box.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something I was planning on doing. Oh yeah. I am sending a message to the people that we work for, Westwind, and to see if I can find out who paid for our monthly payment.
Because your monthly payment was taken care of.
Yes.
Quote unquote, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you send that message, and it will definitely beat you to 0308 because you warp in, have to go refuel and all the other fun stuff, and then another ship takes off immediately. So it'll beat you there by a couple of days, certainly.
But I'll probably get it as I go.
Yeah, either as you're going into the system or maybe, you know, on your second or third jump. We'd have to see.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, cool. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm just staring at a box that's bolted to the floor in our
next to a somewhat larger, more conspicuous box.
Yeah, pretty much.
And surrounded by a ton of vintage liquor.
Alcohol.
Which we are going to lose a bottle of and transport.
Right, yeah. Totally.
Acceptable losses. At some point, Fortune, Oscar is going to track you down. Maybe it's like maybe he like catches you skimming off the top a little and walking away from the cargo bay with a bottle.
Probably, yeah.
So he says nothing about that. He knows, but he says nothing about it. He does, however, say he asks you, Fortune, what do you expect the most structurally sound room is on this ship?
Probably the car. Yeah, thank you.
Let's take a look.
Structurally
You haven't been
sound.
on this map in for a minute.
Yeah.
So if you're asking my opinion, it is probably the upper cargo bay.
That's what I was gonna say.
It has its own set of blast doors, and the elevator acts as a blast door as well. It's where you were able to like store the ice and stuff like that.
Depends on structurally sound what you mean. Like if we damage a wall, because if that's the case, one of these bedrooms here would be decent because their outer walls won't damage the outside walls of the ship.
That's correct.
I don't know. Blast door sounds pretty good.
Or these.
They're also way
like
less
that.
thick, though. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah. So it depends on what you want to do. Why you ask?
He says,
Do you want to guarantee
what was that?
Do you want to guarantee exploding one room, or the small chance of killing us all?
I hate to say it, but I prefer the latter option. May you all have good luck.
Okay.
So yeah, Coco doesn't need to breathe. Fuck it.
Right?
The ship will
It's
fly,
like,
alright?
Come at me.
That's fine.
Yeah, he says, there's a matter I may need your assistance with if things go pear-shaped, so to speak.
Okay.
It's like I picked up a gift from a family member on Raimondi when we were just there.
What'd you get?
Oh, it's a good gift. A present I have yet to open.
What? What? How do you get a present and not open it?
Needs to be opened carefully, from what I understand.
Oh, that doesn't answer why you didn't open it.
Taking appropriate precautions, which you may be involved with. You see, we have another Sriek on board.
Huh?
Heavily drugged in a box.
Is that any way to treat family?
Your mind wanders to the box sitting next to yours.
Sitting next to the other box? Yeah.
Like, not family. No. Much the opposite.
Oh. Okay.
I have been waiting a very, very long time for answers from this individual. I believe she can provide them to me. The trouble is, I understand she was quite difficult to deliver. I hope you understand why I'm taking this risk.
I mean, I don't need too many questions answered. The biggest one is, why was she hard to capture?
I don't know. I was not provided those details.
So is this going to be like a psionics hard thing, or like a physically hard thing, or like hard to find?
She was described to me as resilient. What that means, I can only speculate.
I haven't seen too much of Bullet Can't Stop, so alright.
That's the spirit. I may ask that you remain in the room. Discreetly would be the word.
Alright, yeah, I gotcha.
Thank you.
No problem.
Unless you have better ideas, this is all I can come up with.
Well, I don't know what your plan is, so I don't know how to execute it. So I'll leave that up to you.
Well, Fortune, if you can't... There's more than one exit in here. If need be, I am sure that you are a creative enough man.
Yep. Alright. What?
I mean, yeah, there's two airlocks directly attached to that cargo bay.
Yeah.
Like, this is my problem to deal with. I will not have the ship damaged beyond reason for that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure everything will be fine, though.
Probably.
And that was the last thing they ever said.
Yeah.
No,
So
last thing is... Oh, hold my beer.
He's also gonna speak with Fisher. Maybe he will God, well, he's got to wake her up somehow. So I think
You were
he's
probably
also,
given materials to do so.
despite that, Oscar is not a doctor.
Sure.
He is not gonna like risk overdosing this person on like Narcan to...
What if it's just sniffing salts?
No, she was out of it. She's like I don't think you were around during that portion of the session.
I was not.
Yeah,
No.
She's like heavily drugged and tied to a chair in a box. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Oscar's gonna go and find Fisher after requesting Fortune's help. Is he, I think that like sometime after he's been dealing with Chan and Gogo, like temporarily.
Yeah, you find
Just
him
find-
sitting in the dark, staring at the computer screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he walks in, kind of, the door's automatic, but he still knocks on the frame as it opens.
Has nobody ever seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
I heard. That will probably classify as music, by the way, in case you were curious.
I can only hope so.
Like, was that like whale noises or something?
Isn't it whale noises? I think it is.
It's sighing doors.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
the doors sigh when they open and
Everything's
close.
depressed.
Yeah.
Because it's all run by
I'm
the
sorry,
depressed
that-
robot.
That went completely over my head. I know, uncultured swine.
As long as you have
Anyway. As long as I have what?
your towel.
Okay, we can stop making Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy references. I don't think he's gonna get them.
Oh, Oscar. Yes, what can I do for?
I need your medical assistance.
Oh, no problem. Just take a seat and, I'll...
In the cargo bay. Unless... Fisher,
Yes?
to the best of your knowledge, is this medical bay equipped with a sanitation protocol?
Yes. I come from Pylos.
No. No, the flame and acid manner. For
is-
biological entities.
It is not, by the way.
Shoot.
I'm afraid not. Where is this going, Oscar?
It's going to the cargo bay then. Would you like to grab your bag and come along? I'll explain on the way.
Would it be recommended I put on an enviro suit?
No.
Are you sure?
Well-
Because I feel like I need an enviro suit.
No, it should be fine. This should all...
No, it's fine. It's just Fortune. He's blown his hand off with his new gun. It's fine. I'm sure everything will be fine. Oscar would be totally calm in that scenario as well. I'm sure that's what it is.
He says, I require your help with what will hopefully only be a cooperative bit of interrogation.
Okay. I'm not great at those kinds of things.
I only need you to wake someone up. I have a companion on board.
Yes, a companion. Have you tried shaking their shoulders? That's the easiest method to wake them up.
I believe I would have to shake fairly hard in this situation. I actually tried that back on Raimondi. It had no effect. It would be easier to simply see with your own eyes what the situation is.
Okay, let me bring some basic medical supplies, I guess, as I get up and bring a doctor's kit with you.
You equip your
Great.
doctor's
Great.
bag.
Yeah.
Sure.
So as they're walking, he texts Gogo, if loud noise or decompression from cargo bay and no response from Fisher or Fortune, vent.
Winky face emoji.
Great. I knew you'd understand.
I like no questions asked. Yeah, sure.
Gogo's not breathing. She has other things to worry about.
Well, I thought you are breathing though.
But she's gotta think of that.
Yeah.
Gogo lost the game permanently.
Right. So,
Okay. So you arrive at the cargo bay.
Yeah. So I there must be like some latches on this.
Oh yeah,
You know,
no.
is this a pretty standard?
It's well, see, that's the thing. It is by no means standard. It's probably like plasteel reinforced. Has probably a bunch of like mag locks on it. That all require like maybe 3 or 4 separate codes to disengage. Yeah, it's one of those.
Okay. So Oscar has his field uniform on at the very least, and he has his. There is something that he has stashed behind some crates in the corner of the room.
Okay, so I
Large.
probably walk in with like my pistol on my hip, and then you start doing the latches, and there's like Jordan said, 4 or 5 different codes for each latch. Like, I'll be right back, and I come
Okay.
back with like 5 guns.
Yeah, there you go. There's digital representation. What we're dealing with here.
Yeah, so Oscar begins undoing all, he's punching in all the codes, he's taking off all the little locks and such. And he's saying, this is someone I have been looking for quite some time. Don't do anything rash.
Okay. As I'm loading each weapon.
Yeah. No, that's not rash. But
I found a better box.
But that one's open. I don't like that one.
great.
Well, I mean, that's what he's doing with it, right?
Yeah.
So when you detach the last maglock, it does that thing where it begins to come down on hydraulics, like all of the sides fold down, right? Leaving this kind of skeleton of the crate that it was in, and you see the chair, and it's kind of in the same configuration that you originally saw it, Oscar. There's a female Shriek who is on a chair that's probably a bit taller than a normal human chair, because Shriek have very long legs, and the equivalent of her calves are like bound to the front legs of the chair, and then to the back of the chair, both of her arms are behind her and lashed to that as well, very tightly, almost like all the way up to her elbow joint. And she has like a bag over her head, and she's in some clothing that looks like kind of like travel worn almost. Imagine like kind of Old West style clothing that's kind of travel worn and faded from solar radiation.
Oscar, I don't know much about Shriek partnerships, but I'm sure there's a easier way to go about it than this.
We can talk about Sriek courtship another time, Fisher. For now, what I would like is your help bringing her back. I was given some manner of compound. I don't trust myself to administer it on my own. Yeah, he gives you like.
So it's probably in like an
satchel.
unrollable syringe case, right? And Dr. Fisher, you unroll it and you see there's a bunch of like hypodermic needles, similar to like the style of an EpiPen, where they are encased within themselves and they don't have like a point on them. And you can see like it's like a cycle of 3, and then there are a couple of like dummy rounds, and then there are a couple of like of this drug you've never heard of, and it's very, very clear that all of these needles and such are alien in design. They're all obviously Sriek make and Sriek manufactured. And that's probably why you don't know much about them.
Yeah. It's not a just simple needle, because he has to get through the whole carapace and things.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's why it's spring loaded as opposed to just like what we would use, just to flick the tank and push all the air out and stick it in somebody. It's not how it works for Sriek.
Sure, Oscar, do you trust, with a stretch of the meaning, the person who gave you this medicine?
It would be a rather convoluted prank not to give me the correct medicine, since they were the ones who delivered this individual to me. I have no choice but to trust them.
Okay. And I inject him.
Yeah, you run through the cycles, and it has like it's clear that this is a kit designed for this purpose, because it has the 3 different cycles, and it says, use this one, 5 minutes later use this one, 15 minutes later use this one. If symptoms of this begin to show, use this dummy shot, or use this particular shot. And so it's very self-explanatory, almost as if anyone could pick it up and use it if necessary. Kind of like the way that military field medical equipment is designed. So you go through the process, and it's a bit of an arduous 15 to 30 minutes that the 3 of you are inside of the cargo hold. What's the atmosphere like? Like, Fortune, what are you doing while Dr. Fisher's working on this individual? And Oscar, what are you doing while Dr. Fisher's working?
I like how the airlocks are now numbered suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just looking at that. I was like, this seems...
That may come unnecessary.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Seems smart. I like it.
Your cargo's tied down real well, right, Fortune?
Yeah, that thing's not coming off.
Oh, no, mine's bolted to the ground.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Unless that piece of the ship falls off. That thing is staying where it's supposed to.
Good. I would feel bad about that.
There is a specific reason why it is so secure.
And
God,
I
are we
think
carrying a fucking nuke or something?
I have no idea. We're not supposed to.
Psychic.
I think all the alcohol is probably in this cargo bay underneath us, so we can open up these airlocks and be fine.
Right. Yeah, this one is empty. You have very little cargo on the ship in general.
Yeah.
I think Oscar is very restless.
You're pacing and
he's a little bit. I mean, it's on the Oscar scale though, right? So he's not like zoo tiger pacing, but he's probably more agitated than you've seen him previously. Like outside of like active gunfire.
Outside of dying.
Yeah.
Back on that
Correct.
TL3 planet.
Yeah, the
and
several
also,
times that he's seen the light.
I would like to ask: is our person facing this way?
Sure, she can be.
Yeah, so I think he would have
Opened it
like,
up towards you.
positioned her so that they're more or less facing, like facing over this way. Like she would have a chair, he would have a chair.
Got it. I'm hiding in a corner, and I know my guns are loaded, so now I'm just waiting, hand on trigger or finger on trigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Oscar's just waiting, and I think, you know, he probably says to Fisher, I hope you understand, the fewer people here, the better. After she's awake, you may want to return to the med bay.
I'm sorry, I found that really hilarious when 3 out of 5 crew members are inside the cargo bay and you said that.
Well,
yeah, no, I get what you mean, but it was
be-
really funny to me in the moment.
yeah, he's. This is going to be an interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he wants her necessarily biting her tongue if she thinks that there are others listening outside of.
Sure. So, Dr. Fisher, as you begin evaluating your new patient, you realize very quickly what we all know is she was heavily in some sort of, like, drug-induced, like, state of unconsciousness, barely, or semi-consciousness. And it seems strange because this, whatever is affecting her, seems purposely not allowing her to become unconscious, but keeping her so kind of, like, deluded that she is not fully conscious. She's kind of, and it's very similar, actually, I think you realize as you're proceeding with it, it's very similar to kind of how the system works, just in a different way. She appears to be in some sort of stasis, but has some amount of control, or I shouldn't say some amount of control, but has the ability to, like, breathe and stuff like that. And so if it weren't such a strange situation, it might be fascinating. Right?
Yeah. Everything's working, but the lights just aren't on.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of the opposite of Go-Go. I mean, it's 100% accurate.
That's funny.
At least your lights are on.
Yeah.
So, you finish with the sequence, and it just requires some time processing.
Mm-hmm.
And as time begins to process, the bag is still, like, over her head, right? And you see, like, there's more movement and twitching, and you can see, like, her long kind of, you know, spindly fingers, like, kind of, like, almost, like, moving or twitching and flexing and kind of, like, trying to regain their full functionality again. She probably begins to moan and groan like somebody waking up from a very restless nap or from being knocked out, right?
Yeah,
And
the circumstances of her acquisition are not clear
correct
right now.
Yes. And I would say, Dr. Fisher, you probably don't know enough about Sriak physiology to just at a glance be able to evaluate her condition.
Yeah.
It probably would require even more than just your bioscanner could do. It probably requires, like, the full medbay lookup. Anyhoozle. So your job is essentially done in this position, Dr. Fisher. The drugs will begin to wear off, and she will not regain full functionality for probably about 2 to 3 hours, but she will be conscious and able to be interacted with. within the next few minutes.
Now, Oscar, are you sure you don't want a trained physician to be on site in this matter?
Fisher, I foresee this going one of several ways. None of them involve a physician. Beyond this.
Then I'll respect your wish, Oscar.
No, don't be a stranger, but I believe I can handle this from here.
Of course.
Thank you.
Good luck in your endeavors. Or courtship, or what you will.
You guys joke. You joke.
So Oscar, what do you do?
I think he just he takes the bag off, and I think he would turn, like if there are any like super blazing fluorescent overhead lights, he would turn it down a peg.
I'm sure that
some
of those
gotta
exist
be
on this.
awful to wake up to that. He doesn't have the interrogation light. He wants her capable of responding and being coherent. So he
Let's see. Yeah, she's probably about this type of bug, right? Oh, that's a little.
Yeah, give or take.
That's a little.
That's about right.
The doors come down, Ford starts shooting, everything dies.
We hear a wild girlish scream is coming from.
The fact that Megan hasn't responded makes me think she left.
If you could see my face as a ... then you would have.
It's just ... across your face. Okay, good.
Yeah. No, he sets her up. He takes the bag off, and he just takes a seat across from her, and he waits for her to come back to her senses.
I think after probably about 30 minutes after Dr. Fisher leaves, you see like her sets of eyes begin to like kind of flutter open, and you can tell that she can't see anything yet, but like there's like some head motion and like some like kind of gazing around, and you see some like probably gentle like tests, right, of like, nothing is actually said, but like, you see like the hands maybe begin to flex, and the kind of legs like try and stretch out. And probably after about another 15 or 20 minutes or so, she begins to like look up, and you can see like again like eyes squeeze real tight and then like open one just a little bit and kind of like look around. And eventually I think her gaze falls on you. And she doesn't say anything though when that happens.
Oscar, once it's clear that she's lucid again, he says, "Oha, you have been a very difficult woman to track down."
You say this in common?
I think he would say it in that. This would be in Syriac.
Okay.
This would not be in common.
Yeah, so you say it in Syriac, and there's like she mumbles something. And like again like looks around and then says, "Where am I?"
I think the more important question is, where would you like to be? Currently, You are in the cargo hold of a freighter. If you would like this to be the last place you are, that is within your own hands.
Yeah, and you see her head kind of slumps down. And you catch like the faintest kind of waft from her pheromones. And it smells suspiciously like amused. But she doesn't respond with words.
Amusement is okay. Oscar does not say that. He says, "May I trust you to behave?"
I think she like, again, she raises her head with some effort, and she looks at you, and it's the first time her eyes are very clear, and you notice she's got a very strong face, even for a Syriac. And she says...
Even for someone, you know, a race whose faces are made out of chitin?
Correct.
Okay.
She looks up, and she says, "No, but I don't suspect that would change anything either."
As I've said, your fate is in your own hands.
Logically
Wasn't I
incorrect.
that found you?
Yeah, I think she goes, logically incorrect.
You have options. We'll evaluate those as we speak. I need answers, first and foremost.
Why is it always answers people need? Why don't they ever just want to talk?
Is there something in particular you would like to discuss?
For one, we both know that I cannot trust you, whoever you may be. You cannot trust me. The ship is clearly not of Syriac make, yet here you are.
He says, "Forgive me. I've grown quite accustomed to wearing this." And he like takes his mask off and he sets it on the floor next to his chair.
Yeah, and I think there's a moment where she's looking, and then she probably says something in Syriac. It's kind of a mumble, but if you roll a perception check, you might be able to pick up what it is. Yeah. So she probably says something along the lines of Shutta, which is probably cursed one. But it's clear the recognition is there.
Mm-hmm. He says, "We have both suffered. No need for foul language."
Yeah, I think again, there's a mixture of pheromones that kind of permeate the air. They're becoming stronger. She's clearly gaining more cognitive ability back, and it's like almost not even discernible. Like it's kind of like a wave of emotion, and then it kind of settles back on amused.
He says, "I am glad that you're aware. However, I don't believe we've ever been formally acquainted."
I think she goes, "To be fair, I've never met a member of your family."
And yet what an impact you've had.
Me? None.
Ah. See, now we're getting answers. We can have your discussion, and I can still get what I want.
Isn't it wonderful?
Tell me what you knew about the wedding.
Cool. Roll me a mental effect save. Nice. You keep passing them. It's good. So when you say that, your chitin like comes down in an odd way, and it kind of like scrapes the like inside of your like the what do you call it? Inside of like the pincers of your mouth, causing you like a little bit of pain, like you almost closed your mouth too hard.
Yeah, like bit of chick.
Yeah, basically.
Something like silly happened and probably feels...
Yeah, it goes unnoticed, but like it was a weird lapse in accuracy. Like it's like the empty milk jug effect, but in this form, or like when you're chewing on food and then all of a sudden you bite down and there's just no food on wherever you, like in any part where your teeth are, and you just like come down really hard. Yeah, there's something fired incorrectly, right?
It's been a good ride, guys. I just want to say, whatever.
You've been passing them. You're lucky you didn't fail the first one. So, continue.
Yeah, he says, tell me what you knew of the wedding, the arrangement, I should say. Your family had other plans. This is my understanding, but I'm hoping that you will clarify.
Yeah, I think for a moment she kind of like looks down and appears to be thinking, and she goes, "How long ago was that? I cannot even remember."
A year. Somewhat more.
Yeah. I do remember now. It is interesting that you would propose such a question, when it is perhaps I who should be asking the same.
I acted on intelligence that was given to me, that a betrayal was to happen, brought about by your uncle. I was to send a message, and I did. I will not speak to whether I regret this or not, as I was carrying out an order. As you said, that was quite some time ago. Here we are now.
Isn't that the problem? Carrying out orders, working for families. It's caused everything that's wrong with our people. Wouldn't it be better if it were just different? If we didn't have to squabble over petty things, like who sits in a chair.
If no one sits in the chair, as you say, it's an ideal I can understand, but someone will always step up, insist. I've come to realize that perhaps responsibility dictates. Here I am rambling. I asked you a question. Please.
And yeah, I think, again, there's a little bit of amused in the air. And it's she says, I thought this was a conversation, but yes, what do I remember of the arrangement? Well, from my perspective, it appeared that my family was betrayed, my uncle was killed, and we reacted accordingly, as is with the customs of our people, as despicable as they may be. You get the feeling she doesn't have a whole lot of love for the Syriac culture. Which is kind of fair.
Yeah, I mean...
Syriac culture's a little fucked up.
It is basically a mafia-run...
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of messy. Yeah, he says, he says, I have decreasing love for how things are run. I've gained very little, only seen tragedy. Worse that I was brought up only to bring this about. To some extent, I am sure that you empathize.
Yeah, and I think she says, don't pretend to understand me, murderer.
I don't pretend to understand you. I expect that you can see my point of view, however.
Yes.
Take it as a compliment.
What's the equivalent of a sheep on Raimondi?
I don't know, man. Probably some, like, kind of woolly caterpillar.
Yeah. So, it's probably a somlon, and she says, yes, the somlon will follow their herdsman.
God, he says, there were days I saw myself more as one who tended to them. Protector. Perspective is a funny thing, though.
Yes, indeed. Perfect. Roll me a mental effect save.
Oh boy.
Hey, we finally, what was that, 6, 7? Fuck.
Can
you tell me what I'm rolling against finally?
This is actually completely different.
Okay.
How's Oscar currently feeling emotionally?
I think, so honestly, I think Oscar probably, like, predominant emotions are I think it's like a mix of hope and like dread. Like if this is like a mind probe, I think that she would get the sense that he's really not looking forward to what he thinks is going to happen in the next 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
Is that the information that
sure
you need?
Sure. I think
we're talking like surface emotion, not intent, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I think that her head kind of lulls again, and Fortune, roll me a stealth check based on dexterity.
I believe in you, Fortune.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
I forgot Fortune was even there.
Right?
Fortune forgot Fortune was
that might be true. To be fair. Nope, she does not. She does not detect you.
Would you like to try to detect me?
So, I think that she says, she probably says to you, Oscar, she goes, I understand that you have wanted this for a long time. It is unfortunate that I will only end up disappointing you. Do not remain hopeful, Oscar. You will not get the answers that you... Well, she doesn't say Oscar because you didn't give her a name. She says, do not remain hopeful. You will not receive the answers you desire from me. It is only the dread that you will find. Perhaps kill me now. Get it over with. We need not go any further. And to reflect that, she pegs you, right? Like, you get that feeling of losing the upper hand in this conversation to some degree. Obviously, you have control over everything, but yeah.
No, I think he probably. So yeah, he recognizes that she has him like dead to rights, but I think he was essentially going into this conversation expecting that she would have,
sure,
it's a fellow Shriek. She was already described as dangerous.
Yeah.
This is not a surprise. So I don't think he's like taken aback necessarily in that sense, but like, yeah, he that's valuable information actually, that she has him like drawn up like that.
Yeah. It's just for this like next 30 seconds or so, but
yeah.
Things can always change. I think that probably at that point we get an image of Gogo. What are you doing, Gogo?
Eating cookies.
I feel as though Gogo is just like sitting on the end of her bed in her room pondering what she's done.
Are the lights on?
Shit.
No. I mean, Gogo very rarely puts lights on in general. I have a feeling that the lights are probably off, but she is totally one to have like weird neon signs and things in her room, so...
I mean, I'm sure she doesn't actually need lights ever again.
True. She has her goggles on and shit. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. So Gogo's just like literally sitting on the end of her bed, probably just staring off into space, possibly music going, but yeah, by herself. She wouldn't have Chan in there.
So I think that there's a very light on your door.
Oh, I hope to see closed captions say knocking.
I know, right? I think it would kind of snap her out of it slightly. You see her kind of like shake her head and then just say, yeah?
You don't get an answer.
She stands up and goes to the door. She like slams her hand on the button to open it.
Yeah, and it does that thing where it opens and you don't see anything. And then you like kind of like look around and then you look down and Chan is face down on the ground with his hands out in front of his head in the position that he hasn't done probably in months. And he says, I am sorry, Overseer. I have failed.
Chan, stand up. What are you talking about? Are you feeling okay?
I do not know what is wrong with me. Dr. Fisher will not tell me.
What do you mean, wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, and I think he kind of looks up and you see like the tears in his eyes. And he like pulls back his cheeks and you can see his teeth are no longer humanoid. They appear to be filed into these fine points
Chan, come here. And I think she'd like pull him into the room and like slam the door shut. And then I think she would certainly turn on some lights.
Yeah, and
to better look at his mouth.
When you turn on the lights, both of you like kind of feel blinded a bit. You have a bit of light sensitivity, and it passes, and you like kind of hold Chan's head up and you look, and yeah, his teeth look eerily similar to those of the people on Eurypylos.
I mean, yeah, your teeth look different, but Chan, nothing's wrong with you. It's gonna be okay. You haven't failed.
Overseer, when is the last time you ate food?
She doesn't know. So
yeah, I think
respond.
he says, I cannot remember either, but I am hungry.
Go just stares at him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great place to take our break.
Yay!
Oscar, can you, if you're going to kill her, please don't do it straight away, so we at least have emergency provisions for our two new zombie friends.
True.
Something for them to eat.
Fantastic. So let's take a break real quick. We'll be back in just a moment. Let's be back at 10 after. Yeah?
Works.
Okay.
Okay. See you guys then. Okay, guys. We're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned, please, and thank you.